I sat in the waiting room of Wilson and Associates investment firm, watching my brother Marcus pace nervously in his $1,000 suit. The leather portfolio in his hands contained his company's last hope, a funding proposal that needed one final signature. Mr. Thompson? The receptionist called. Ms. Wilson will see you now. Marcus straightened his tie, flashing his practiced corporate smile. Finally. Emily, wait here. This is a serious business meeting, not a place for, well, you know. I didn't move from my seat, enjoying the moment. Actually, I think I'll join you. Look, he sighed, I know you're trying to learn about real business after your little tech startup failed, but this is important. These people are serious investors. My phone buzzed with messages. Executive team. Acquisition papers ready for review. Legal. Due diligence complete on Thompson Tech. Finance. Valuation report finalized. Trust me, I smiled, standing up. I wouldn't miss this meeting for the world. The receptionist led us through glass doors into a sleek conference room. Marcus's confidence faltered slightly when he saw only an empty chair at the head of the table. Ms. Wilson will be here shortly, the receptionist said, closing the door behind us. Sarah Wilson, Marcus explained condescendingly, arranging his documents. One of the most powerful investors in the tech sector. She's known for turning failing companies around. He smirked. Maybe you should pay attention. Learn why your startup couldn't cut it. I checked my watch. Oh, I'm quite familiar with Sarah Wilson's work. Right, he scoffed. From your market research. Tell me, how's that going? Still working from Mom's garage. Before I could answer, the door opened. Marcus jumped to his feet, ready to charm the legendary Sarah Wilson. But no one entered. Instead, my phone rang. The caller ID displayed, Executive Assistant. Excuse me, I said, answering the call. Yes, I'm here. Send everything in. Marcus frowned. Emily, put that away. This isn't the time for. The door opened again. This time a team of executives entered, all carrying tablets and folders. They nodded respectfully in my direction, completely ignoring Marcus. What's going on? He demanded. Where's Sarah Wilson? Sarah Wilson retired last year, I said calmly, taking my seat at the head of the table. The firm needed new leadership, someone with a fresh perspective on the tech sector. Marcus's face went pale. No. Yes, I smiled, opening my laptop. Wilson and Associates is now Parker and Associates, though I kept the Wilson name for its market recognition. Parker, he whispered. Your married name? The same. I gestured for my team to be seated. Now about that funding proposal. Marcus gripped the back of his chair, knuckles white. This is a joke. You can't be running one of the largest tech investment firms in the country? I finished for him. The same sister you said would never understand real business? My phone lit up with more messages. Risk assessment. Thompson Tech analysis complete, significant red flags. Market research. Competitor analysis shows declining market share. Compliance. Multiple regulatory concerns identified. Please sit. I gestured to the chair across from me. Let's discuss your company's interesting financial situation. Marcus sank into the chair, his perfectly pressed suit suddenly looking wrinkled and small. My executive team efficiently distributed tablets showing Thompson Tech's complete financial analysis. Now, I began, pulling up his proposal, you're requesting $50 million in emergency funding. Quite a change from last Christmas when you told the family your company was revolutionizing the industry. The market conditions. He started weakly. Haven't affected your competitors nearly as much, I cut in, displaying a comparative analysis. In fact, while Thompson Tech's market share has dropped 60%, your main competitors have grown. Interesting, considering you called my startup amateur just before I sold it for $300 million. The room was silent except for the soft tapping of keyboards as my team logged every detail of Marcus's discomfort. That's impossible, he muttered. Your company was worthless. Dad said a lot of things, I agreed. Like how I was wasting my inheritance on tech development instead of joining the family business. The same family business that's now hemorrhaging money under your leadership. My phone buzzed again. Board of Directors. Unanimous decision received on Thompson Tech proposal. Legal. hostile takeover documentation prepared as backup. PR, press release drafts ready for both scenarios. Your proposal, I continued, scrolling through the document, conveniently omits several crucial details. Should we discuss the unauthorized use of company funds? The inflated user numbers? The regulatory violations? Marcus's face went from pale to ashen. How did you know? I smiled. I'm an investor, Marcus. Due diligence is what I do. Though in your case I had years of family dinners watching you brag about your creative business practices. One of my executives slid a folder across the table. Your company's real numbers, Mr. Thompson. Including the parts you tried to hide. Marcus opened the folder with trembling hands. His eyes widened as he saw just how much we knew. This wasn't supposed to happen, he whispered. You were the family failure. The cautionary tale. The one who couldn't. Couldn't what? I asked softly. Couldn't succeed without the family name? Couldn't build something valuable? Couldn't sit in this chair and decide your company's fate? The conference room's glass walls gave us a perfect view of downtown's financial district. From the 50th floor, you could see several buildings with Thompson Tech's logo, buildings that would soon display very different branding if Marcus didn't accept my terms. Your company needs more than money, I said, pulling up another document. It needs complete restructuring. Your management team is bloated with family friends, your R&D department is underfunded, and your product development has stagnated. My phone continued its steady stream of updates. Operations, transition teams on standby. HR, employee satisfaction surveys analyzed, 78% negative. Tech analysis, product pipeline review complete, critical flaws identified. We were dealing with market challenges, Marcus defended weakly. Everyone's struggling. Really? I pulled up a competitor comparison on the main screen. Cloudsphere, your main rival, has grown 200% this year. Their new CEO, remember Lisa Chin? The inexperienced programmer you refused to hire. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. 2 years ago he'd laughed at Lisa's job application, saying Thompson Tech didn't need coding nerds in management. And this, I continued, switching slides, is particularly interesting. Your personal expenses charged to the company account. The business meetings at luxury resorts. The family vacations classified as corporate retreats. Those were legitimate business expenses. Like the yacht? I asked quietly. The one you bought the same week you denied the engineering department's request for updated equipment? One of my executives handed me another folder. The staff exodus numbers, Ms. Parker. Ah yes, I opened it. 38 key developers have left Thompson Tech in the past year. Most went to Cloudsphere. Apparently, Lisa Chin knows the value of coding nerds. Marcus tugged at his collar. The room suddenly felt very warm to him, I imagined. The funding, he said desperately. We just need to bridge this temporary. Temporary. I laughed. Your company is 3 months from bankruptcy. The only thing keeping your stock price above water is the market's ignorance of what's really happening inside Thompson Tech. My phone lit up again. Stock analysis. Thompson Tech trading volume suspicious. Insider selling detected. Compliance. Executive stock sales flagged for investigation. Legal. Securities violation evidence compiled. You've been selling your shares, I noted, watching his face. Quietly through various shell accounts. Planning your exit while telling employees to keep buying company stock for their retirement funds. The color drained from his face. How did you? The same way I know about the offshore accounts. The hidden subsidiaries. The consulting fees paid to shell companies owned by your golf buddies. I closed my laptop. Did you really think nobody would notice? Those are confidential company matters. Nothing is confidential from your potential investors, I corrected. Especially when those investors have spent months preparing for this exact conversation. Marcus slumped in his chair, his carefully maintained facade cracking. What do you want? Want? I raised an eyebrow. I'm not the one desperate for funding. But since you ask. I nodded to my team who distributed new documents. These are my terms, I said. Read carefully. Your future, and the future of Thompson Tech, depends on your next decision. Marcus flipped through the documents, his face growing paler with each page. This is insane. You want control of the board. Complete restructuring, I corrected. Your current board will resign. The new board will have actual tech experience, not just family friends who rubber stamp your decisions. My phone continued its steady stream of intelligence. Board analysis. Current directors' conflicts of interest documented. Governance review. Multiple fiduciary duty violations identified. Shareholder relations. Institutional investors supporting leadership change. You'll step down as CEO, I continued. A qualified executive with actual tech industry experience will take over. You'll be offered a non-executive position, provided you cooperate fully with the transition. Step down, he sputtered. Dad built this company. Dad built a promising tech company. I cut in. You turned it into your personal piggy bank. Now I'm offering to save it, and your reputation if you're smart enough to take the deal. One of my executives projected a timeline onto the wall screen. Thompson Tech's declining metrics under Marcus's leadership, overlaid with his increasing personal expenditures. Your choice is simple, I said, pointing to the final projection. Accept my terms or watch Thompson Tech collapse while federal investigators examine your creative accounting. Marcus loosened his tie, sweat visible on his forehead. The family will never accept this. The family. I smiled. You mean the same family that called my startup a waste of time? The ones who mocked my little computer project at every holiday dinner. My phone buzzed again. Media monitor. Thompson Tech rumors circulating, stock volatile. Investor relations. Major shareholders requesting emergency meeting. Crisis team. Contingency plans ready for all scenarios. Remember Thanksgiving 3 years ago? I asked, pulling up a recording. When you said I didn't understand real business? The conference room filled with Marcus's own voice. Emily's playing entrepreneur while the adults run real companies. Her little startup won't last 6 months. Where did you get that? He demanded. I record everything, Marcus. A habit I developed after years of being dismissed and undermined by my supportive family. I gestured to my team, who pulled up more recordings. Family gatherings, board meetings, private conversations where Marcus and the other executives plotted their various schemes. Every illegal decision. Every misappropriated fund. Every time you and your board ignored regulations and ethical guidelines. All documented. Marcus gripped the arms of his chair. You've been planning this. Since the day you laughed at my business plan and told potential investors to avoid my amateur operation? I nodded. I learned from you, brother. Just not the lessons you thought you were teaching. The next morning, Thompson Tech's headquarters was buzzing with nervous energy. News of an emergency board meeting had leaked, and employees clustered around their monitors, watching the company's stock price fluctuate wildly. I stood in the lobby, no longer the ignored sister but the investor who held their fate in her hands. Marcus had spent the night consulting with lawyers, all of whom confirmed what he dreaded. I held all the cards. My phone was already active with morning updates. Market watch. Thompson Tech trading halted, major announcement expected. Business Wire. Parker and Associates rumored in Thompson Tech takeover. Tech News. Industry insiders predict Thompson leadership shakeup. The elevator opened and Marcus emerged with his executive team, all looking like they'd aged years overnight. Their usual swagger was replaced by nervous glances and loosened ties. The board is assembled, Marcus said stiffly. Though I still think you're making a huge mistake. Interesting, I replied, checking my watch. That's exactly what you said about my startup's AI algorithms. The ones that just licensed for $1.2 billion. The boardroom was packed. Directors who had previously ignored my existence now stood nervously as I entered. My team efficiently set up presentations while Marcus's allies whispered among themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, I began, taking the chair Marcus usually occupied, let's discuss the future of Thompson Tech. Or rather, whether it has one. My phone lit up with more intelligence. Legal, SEC filing prepared for leadership change. HR, employee retention packages ready. PR, press release drafted for all scenarios. Before we begin, I continued, I should mention that my team has individual folders for each person in this room. They contain interesting reading material. The directors shifted uncomfortably as folders were distributed. Each contained detailed documentation of their personal involvement in Thompson Tech's mismanagement. As you can see, I gestured to the opening slides. Thompson Tech's current trajectory is unsustainable. Not just financially but legally. Marcus attempted to interrupt, but I held up my hand. The yacht can wait, brother. Let's talk about the engineering team's budget first. The next hour was a methodical dismantling of everything the board had built, or rather destroyed. Every questionable decision, every missed opportunity, every instance of nepotism over merit was laid bare. Your technical talent is leaving. I pointed to a particularly damning graph. Your product pipeline is stagnant. Your market share is plummeting. And your solution was to buy another yacht. The board members looked anywhere but at Marcus, who had slumped in his chair, his previous bravado evaporated. But the most interesting part, I continued, switching to the next slide, is what you've been hiding from your shareholders. The screen filled with internal emails, financial records, and meeting minutes, all documenting the systematic dismantling of what had once been a promising tech company. My phone buzzed continuously. Forensic accounting, hidden accounts traced, evidence secured. Compliance. Regulatory violations documented 47 major infractions. Legal. Criminal liability assessment complete. For example, I highlighted a particular email chain, this discussion about redirecting R&D funds to executive priorities. Would anyone like to explain why the AI development team's budget was cut to pay for the CEO's new vacation home? One of the board members, Uncle Richard, attempted to defend their decisions. The market conditions required certain adjustments. Adjustments. I pulled up another document. Like hiring your son's failed marketing firm for 10 times the market rate? Or perhaps you meant the consulting fees paid to shell companies owned by board members' relatives. The room fell silent except for the soft sound of papers rustling as directors frantically flipped through their folders, discovering just how much evidence I had gathered. But here's what fascinates me most, I said, bringing up a new series of slides. While you were all claiming Thompson Tech couldn't afford to innovate, your personal net worth was increasing dramatically. Funny how that works. Marcus finally found his voice. The compensation committee approved. The compensation committee? I interrupted, highlighting 3 names. You mean these board members? The ones whose children mysteriously received high-paying positions despite having no relevant experience. My phone lit up again. Employee surveys, 85% support leadership change. Market analysis, competitors capitalizing on Thompson Tech weakness. Innovation report, critical patents at risk of expiration.